Hey, everybody. How you guys doing?
We are doing fantastic. Well, I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
Apart from being stuck inside a printer, I am great.
Yes, you look like you are the frame of the CR10 Max.
If I fit within this printer, you know how big it is.
I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Community Showcase, Monday nights at 6 p.m. Central here on the EduTech channel. Next to me, right over this way, we have Richard and Bryan from the First Layer. Like I said, how you guys doing tonight?
It's gorgeous outside. We've got sunshine finally, no more rain. I've been working all day. What have you been doing?
I've been working all day too, but nothing fun. So
I agree.
I'm making elephants.
I think we've all been working. I saw your post earlier today, and I watched the Superman painting. I've been watching your whole series. I got to say, I wish I could do that, but I don't have a steady hand, for one, and for two, my art skills suck.
I'm just seeing that Alteration is saying that audio is a little bit low versus your audio. I don't know if you can boost or gain or not.
I can't do anything to yours, but I might be able to turn mine down a little. Let's see.
You never know. Ours is a little low, apparently.
Here we go. Alien 3D, Josh is in the house, I think. We got a whole bunch of people in the house already. I appreciate everybody for showing up. I call everybody out, but I don't want to go through that whole crazy list right now. You guys are rocking. I love it. We got 30 people already, and we just went live 2 minutes ago. So
there you go.
We know great
that. Yeah, no, we know that for sure.
That's great. If you guys don't know who Richard and Bryan are, they run a channel on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram. I'm not sure. Are you on Twitter?
I am on Twitter under Cleveland_I am.
That's why I didn't find you. All right. But they run a channel called The First Layer, as it says right in their lower third there. And they're our guest host tonight. So that's pretty awesome. But we're going to jump pretty much right into it. I want to do a quick sponsor update before we get everybody going. You probably saw the whole new background of the screen. Thanks to RPM Designs. Robbie Mack, you're the man. I really appreciate that stuff. But one is hiding right behind Richard's head there, and it is TH3D. But we got Coax. They're going to be sponsoring and providing us some filament. If you've never used Coax filament, check them out. They're also going to be giving us some discount codes for streams coming up. We also got TH3D. He's going to be sponsoring some giveaways on the channel for this show. And RPM Designs, he did the logos, the overlays, all that good stuff. StreamYard, thank you so much for the platform you've given us to play here on. And I really appreciate you supporting the channel as well. And today, RCCNC shipped me a couple shirts. And he shipped me a plate set for a V-Core from Rat Rig. So we're going to give that away at the end of the stream. I think we all know who most of all that was, but our CCNC, he's an awesome guy. He contacted me after last week's show, and he's like, "Hey, I got some stuff for you to give away." So, but without further ado, I'm going to bring in a couple of awesome guests we got going on tonight. I just want to make sure we're good on everybody out there. Say hi if you can hear us and see us. And it looks like Blasto's here in Plasma, and WFO Rider, he's been retweeting and sharing the stream all day today as well. I appreciate that. Let's get the couple of guys in here that were going to be joining us. Down below me, we got Luke Hatfield, Mr. One Bad Marine on all the social medias. And then down this way, if I could do it like that, we got Jerry from 3D Printing and Painting. How are you guys today?
Hello, Jim, Bryan, Richard, Luke.
Hey, howdy.
Hey.
I'm doing good. Jerry, how you doing, Luke?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody's watching.
I'm having a stellar day. I had a weigh-in for a weight loss competition, and with about 26 pounds of weight loss, I'm pretty sure I won the overall pounds lost and the percentage lost. So that's a good day.
All right.
Congratulations. That's great. Let's see. We got Chris Goulart who says, Luke. I just want to point out, Chris, he's not your father. I just want to throw it out there.
Hello, Robert, Chris, WF Order.
Yeah.
Mr. Butcher says, hey, everyone.
Here, don't you?
Yeah, I was going to say, I was going to be like, hello, Jerry.
Yeah.
There's this
so I love it. In last week's show, Nerisse and I got shipped the Creality 3D viewer at the same day. It came the same day. So during the show, I took it and I like handed it like this, and he grabbed it from his screen. It was almost perfect. No, it was just impromptu, just messing around. It was funny. But Plasma says, "Please highlight me, please." There he is. So yeah, let's check it out. What we got today? Hey Jerry, let's start with you today.
Okay.
You go by Jerry of 3D
Yes.
Printing and Painting, or 3D HP on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. Is that
Yes,
true?
sir. Yes, sir. Well,
Awesome. So you let's see. I mean, what do you do? I know I've seen your channel, but tell everybody what's going on. What do you do?
well, I retired when I was 50 from construction here in Las Vegas, and I wanted a new hobby and got into 3D printing and bought my first CR10 about a little over 2 years ago. And then right away, I had to have another one. And then I bought two, and then I wound up with 4 Enders plus a spare. And now I got a TiVo Tarantula Pro, and I'm a 3D printing hoarder, basically is what I would call it. I've got 4 to 5 boxes sitting behind me, half full Home Depot boxes of prints that I haven't painted. I constantly print. Right now, they're not printing, thank God, but typically they're all running. I'm always printing something new, and I print a lot more than I paint. And I don't know, it's just a very, I don't know, it's a hobby, but it's, I don't know how to explain it. It's
an
very
addiction,
addicting.
Jerry.
Yeah, very addicting. So, and I share my work in a lot of different groups, and I get a lot of prints from different designers that I tend to print and showcase. Saves me a little money here and there, and I show off their work. I don't always get them painted right away, but I do get them printed. Here, I'll take my camera and give you a quick look here. Let's see. I have a bunch of Star Wars heads up there on the top, and a bunch of Mortal Kombat stuff here and prints, and I don't know. Here's my TiVo Tarantula Pro that I just done a review on recently that I built. That works great. I prefer that printer over my Ender 3s. And over another side of the room, I've got a bunch of stuff and a couple boxes down there. I just, got tons of stuff everywhere. And I got some stuff in the spare room, and I don't know. I just love the hobby. It's awesome. And I just recently bought an Igloo Mars resin printer. I haven't started resin printing yet, but I will soon. So, a lot of people that are on my Facebook group or have seen my prints, they're like, wow, what do you print next? And, or I wish I could print like you. Well, if you got a lot of money to buy filament, you can, but anyway.
Jerry, let me ask you, what got you into 3D printing after you retired from the construction industry? What attracted you to 3D printing?
I was playing a game called Elite Dangerous in VR, and I wanted to print ships, small ships, and I thought it'd be really cool to print a stormtrooper helmet. And I seen printers years ago when they were kind of jinky, looking at it, made out of wood and such, and they were too expensive. And I started looking on YouTube, because whenever I have a problem, I go to YouTube for an answer, or Google. Google's second, YouTube is first. And I just, went on from there. Bought a CR10. I love the build volume. I got hooked up with TH3D and their products back in the day, and I use Timothy's products on a lot of my printers, and just kind of went on from there. Then I met you on Sanix, Richard.
Yes,
you were on Sanix's website, and when you were first starting out, and it just kind of went on from there. And this is what I do full time. It's not a business; it's just my hobby, and I love it. And print and paint when I can, and post and help people out, and so I don't know.
Nice. So how long have you been printing?
A little over 2 years, probably about a little over 2 years.
And how about painting?
Painting, probably a year and a half or so. I have an airbrush I bought off Amazon and just kind of tinkered with it. I'm a pretty good handyman with everything that I do, so I just kind of tinker and learn. I'm not an expert by no means at anything, but I'm pretty good at everything.
Nice. I was just commenting in the chat that I wish I could paint like you and Richard. Like I was saying before the show, for one, I'm too shaky for that. And for two, I don't think I have the attention span to sit down. The amount of time Richard's putting into his, that Superman that you got the series on is just, it's unbelievable how much time you guys spend on these paintings.
Just take your time, start with something small. It's not hard. Just take your time, be careful. And the more you do, the better you get. It's that simple.
I got to tell you, Jim, on that note, when I started painting little miniatures that were only 28 millimeter tall. And I painted those professionally for about a year and a half, almost 2 years. And I quit painting after that for a long, long time. And then I got back into model building, and I got into painting these because I wanted to see what the next evolution of a piece of plastic was and how good I could make a 3D print look. And over time, I'll tell you, Jim, it just takes practice. I shake all the time, but there's little tricks and tips that I can give you at some point in time that we'll sit down and I'll guide you through it, and you'll be a painter in no time, man.
I'm in. I think that would be awesome.
I see we got a question on airbrush brands. I have an Iwata Eclipse is what I use for an airbrush. My compressor is a cheap one off Amazon.
I have an Iwata Eclipse as well. I've also used the Badger. I've used Pasha. I've used the Testers, Aztec. I keep going back to Iwata. It seems to be the best brush for me as well.
Nice.
I want to teach people how to hand paint first.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I probably need to know how to hand paint before I start spraying, because if I start spraying, I went to school. Not a lot of people know this, but I went to school to rebuild cars long ago before I did IT. And I can paint a car all day, but a car is as big as this thing, and it's spraying, right?
Yeah.
A little things like you guys are doing it amazes me. It's awesome.
Same thing, just on a tiny scale. I mean, I've painted a few cars that don't look that great. They're so, but it's same basic thing, just real small.
Yeah,
right.
That's it. You just take your time, man, and that's why I started putting up that series, Jim, was because I wanted to teach people how to take their prints to the next level using very simple and easy things that you can find anywhere. And with a little bit of practice and a little bit of patience, anybody can paint anything.
That's awesome. Well, and if anyone in the chat right now has not seen the First Layer or 3D printing and painting, they both do some great videos. I know Richard has a great series going on right now with a Superman that is like I watch it while I'm walking around work, and I have a wireless earbud so I can walk around and do my work and watch at the same time. So I look forward to Mondays when you post that. So that's pretty awesome.
We appreciate that.
Yeah, I've never done a live stream by myself yet. I probably should, and I don't put out videos like I should, but I have all the free time in the world. But I don't know. The days fly by. You wake up, next thing you know, it's time to go to bed and do it all over again.
I feel the same way at my age, Jerry.
Yeah.
You don't want to take your hobby and make it into work. That's the sin of any hobby.
That's true. That's the voice of the Phantom, Luke Hatfield, who's one bad Marine in the bottom corner. He's actually shown us. We'll get to Luke in a few minutes, but he's on the road for work right now, and he brings a whole 3D printing rig with him. And we'll talk to him in a little bit about it. So I wish he's in a hotel room and he's got printers lined up, and it's awesome.
I know the 3D trucker that's online quite a bit. He has in the back of his rig, he's got a printer with him, the 3D trucker.
So I don't have to move cameras around anymore. I can just point them where I want.
There you go. I love it. Are you using OBS?
No, I use vMix. For anybody that is getting into streaming like we all do now, whether you're pre-recording and then putting out your content, or you're doing a production like we do every Saturday night, vMix I found to be the closest to Wirecast, which was a program I used before. I just find this much more intuitive, a little bit easier to learn, but it's not cheap. Just for the version that I'm running now, I think is $360 US.
Oh,
but
wow.
For anybody getting started, I would say OBS is definitely the way to go. It's free. It has a lot of capability, and it's a great little program to get your feet wet, and you can stream with it. You can game stream with it, and I use a stream deck right here to switch cameras. So when I'm by myself in the studio, if I'm recording, I can switch all my cameras right here on the fly.
That's awesome. So Jerry, what kind of printers? What printers do you use?
Well, like I say, I have 2 CR10s. I've got 4 Ender 3s, and then I bought a 5th one for parts. There's a place here in Las Vegas that sells Amazon returns. They sell Amazon returns, and I bought a couple from them for, $50 to $75. I needed some parts for an Ender, and I figured, well, I can order the parts from Tiny Machines or Amazon, or I can just go buy a whole new used printer. So I went ahead and bought an extra printer for that. And then a TiVo Tarantula, I've had it for about a month and a half here. It's a kit. You have to build it from scratch, but it's a lot more sturdy. There's a lot of upgrades on it. It basically, I'd say it's a better printer than Ender 3, and they're currently on sale on Amazon for $199 right now. I'm not sure how long that sale is going to last, but if you've ever thought about maybe getting a TiVo, this TiVo Tarantula is an awesome printer, in my opinion.
Awesome.
So,
And now that you mentioned it, if they want to, I can put a link down there too for it in the description of this.
Okay.
As you mentioned it on the stream, I'll throw a link in the description when we're done here about it was which one, the TiVo Tarantula Pro,
yes,
right?
yes.
And you just did a video building that, right?
Yeah, I didn't want the video to last 2.5 hours, so I'm kind of playing music going through it really fast. But yeah, I've done my best on it. So, and yes, I did.
I'm still waiting for mine.
I don't know what happened, Richard. It should be there. It should have been there. It should be there.
They haven't even shipped it yet.
Oh,
from
did you
what I
get? Did you get it from? Well, we could talk offline.
Yeah, we'll talk offline about that.
Anyway.
They haven't shipped it yet, but apparently I'm in the queue to get one. So who knows what's going on there?
That's awesome.
There's a question from David Harmon. What nozzle is your CR Max? That is a Mark 10 nozzle, the exact same setup that comes on the CR10S Pro. This is all CR10S Pro stuff that is on the CR Max.
Nice. So one last question before we're going to bring in Luke here in a second. Any channels out there, Jerry, that you watch that you think anyone else needs to check out? Because there's a ton of channels. There's a lot of our channels, and I love to spread the word. To get everybody out there.
I weekly watch The First Layer, and I have religiously for the last couple of years. Whenever TH3D Studios has anything on, I watch TH3D Studios. And there's a ton of other 3D printers out there. I try to watch everybody randomly. I jump around, but I don't have anybody specifically I watch every week other than The First Layer, because they always have something coming on. And now I'm on your channel here also, Jim. Every time something is there, I try to watch it and stay on top of it. And I plug everybody on my group whenever I can, or I'll to try to help everybody out. One thing I wanted to show everybody that I made, I wanted to make this for over 2 years, and I finally did. I finally printed a Dr. Doom mask.
I love it.
Anyway, yeah, I made this a while back. It's really cool. I like it. It came off Thingiverse. It's Dr. Doom.
Which printer?
CR10. I printed this on a CR10.
It looks nice.
I printed it upright with minimal supports, none in the back, only where they had to go around the eye sockets and such.
Right.
And then, enough to keep it upright, and that was it. So, but it came out very nice.
What's funny about that, Jerry, is I'm printing that exact same mask here on the CR10 Max.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
I wanted to print a white Stormtrooper helmet since before I was in 3D printing, and I still haven't done it. I recently got an Iron Man helmet from Nico Industries, and I printed it, and it was too small. So I printed another one. I made it a lot bigger. It's still too small. I've got a really big head. But anyway, it's another one of my projects. I need to get painted, do a little sanding on one of them. Another one came out real nice.
Nice.
Not everything I print comes out perfect, but most of my prints I don't have to sand. I can go straight to prime and paint. Most of the time, you don't see layer lines. Sometimes I do if the printer's having an issue, but that happens with everybody. Nobody is perfect at anything. Sometimes everything works great, and other times everything's broken. Depending on the week or the day.
Nice. Well, that's awesome. I want to bring in Luke. He's been hiding in the background. We've been watching one of his printers print here. We have right below me, we have Luke Hatfield. If you know him on social media, probably all the Creality and all the groups helping us out. He helped me get started with my first printer and helped me get started with this YouTube channel. He goes by One Bad Marine. How you doing, Luke?
I'm doing well, thank you.
So I alluded to it a few minutes ago. It looks like you had a printer farm going on. You bring your printers with you on the road, right?
Absolutely. I dropped one off on one of my last trips home because I had a TiVo Tornado Gold I had with me too, but it was a little hard on it setting it up and tearing it down because I got 2 Ender 3s that I can basically move whole without damaging them. So I left the TiVo Tornado with my youngest son to play with.
Sweet.
Now, Luke, you got to tell me there. Are you hiding that printer when housekeeping comes through, or do you just like hope that they don't
Oh,
understand what it
they're running all day long while I'm gone. But the housekeeping people, I give them little widgets that I print or whatever, and they think it's cool, so they don't bug me.
Library works?
That is a great idea. It's almost like hiding a pet in a hotel room that's not supposed to have pets, except for you're not really hiding it.
It's always a moment of anxiety when I come in. The worst hotels for me are the ones where you got to go by the front desk with a little cart as you're pushing in. Because I got this big pile of electronics I'm bringing in there, wondering what I'm up to. But no.
I love
yeah,
it.
you guys got that CR10S Pro Max there. I was one of the beta testers along with that, and I didn't get my wish. I was trying to get them to do a ring ceramic heater and ship it out with the 0.8 or 1 millimeter nozzle, but it was too late, and they'd already made too many of them to add that to it. But that was one of my wish lists to add to that printer, because it deserves to have a lot higher melting flow volume extruder on it.
Nice.
Yeah, I agree with you 100% on that. I think that if they'd done that, this would have been a little bit better printer. I think if they had gone one step further and actually made this a 500 by 500 instead of finding that middle ground at 450,
Yeah,
it would have been a much better printer, because now this has got a fully heated bed, which the 400 500 don't.
They've eaten their shorts on the CR5. They're just not moving enough of them. That's why I think they backed down. They're trying to find that sweet spot between the two. So I think it was more. I mean, they are watching what's going on in the market a bit. They really need to, in my opinion, lean more on their technical people, on the feedback on what the users really want in a kit, because they can give it to them at a reasonable price, I think. But they're learning, right? Every time we go around, they learn a little bit more.
So, Luke, yeah, I'm gonna go fix my audio here, but why don't you tell us, if you're so experienced with all these Creality printers, then what is your preferential pick? Obviously, you're traveling with Ender 3s, but is there one you would prefer, or is it just the Ender 3 is your kind of favorite?
So I'm going to preface it. So if somebody asked me out of all of the line, mainly for the beginner printer that wants a medium volume and wants to have a nice solid setup to start out their journey in 3D printing, I'm gonna recommend the Ender 5 all day long. If they put it out with an aluminum extruder to start with, there'd be nothing that you needed to buy for that printer to be a workhorse in and out every day. That being said, there's something in the lineup coming up that might supersede that, but I can't really disclose at this moment. But for the moment, especially the new one won't be in the same price range. So my recommendation would still stay with the Ender 5 for a starter. There's some guys doing some really neat stuff with Ender 5 on basically just putting a bigger build plate on it and expanding it to have a little bit bigger build plate off of the stock platform. So there's a lot of in-house modding you can do to it to even get it up more into that CR10 build plate size if you want.
Nice.
I'm kind of surprised that you're choosing the 5 over the 3 Pro. What makes you want to choose the 5 over the 3 Pro?
The new users are destroying the magnets like it's going out of style. And the real big tip over there is, even though with that wider Y extrusion for stability, it's the not having the inertial mass of the bed being thrown around. You move that workhead up above in a fully cubed volume, it's just more stable. You can, if you want to print at 7,500 millimeters a second in feed with infill, sorry, and keep that head moving, and you get to the 250, 300 millimeters high, it'll let you go. You don't have to slow down near as much as you do with throwing that bed around with all that weight. So that's the big tipper for me.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm an Ender 3 guy. I think the Ender 3's where it's at. And I'm teaching the class now once every 3 months, where we build the machine in the morning, and then in the afternoon we learn software the rest of the time. So
yeah. No, that's great, and the Ender 3 is great. Don't get me wrong. And there's if that's what, because there's a price jump, right? Going to the Ender 5,
Yeah.
they're sort of getting down closer to the 300 range, and on a decent day you can hit the Ender at that 170 range. So you're paying a bit more, but either one is a really good starting place. And so I'm not doing your classes because I'm on the road traveling, right? My contribution to the space is I've got a guide. I don't know that you've seen it, but I have a 130-page PDF guide that goes through how to set up Cura, how to set up the printers, points out a few tuning things that none of the other builders have really pointed out. And then obviously Jim has taken some of that guide and put it to video for me, which I really appreciate. But, my niche is helping the new people get to our level of production and prints in the fastest track possible. And I really think if you followed my guide and guidance or whatever, in a week, you could be putting out close to the level of prints I put out now without having to go through all the grief it took me to learn how to do it.
Well, we'll have to talk off camera and get a copy of that PDF from you.
Yeah,
it's open source. It's on C3D Media. Any of the Facebook groups, you can grab it. You're more than welcome to pick and choose what you want out of it or whatever.
How about I link it in a minute here?
Yeah, you can do that.
So
one of the things that I teach that if you read through it, you'll find that nobody else teaches. It's called the X gantry rework. Jim did a pretty good job of putting it to video. But just so people know why you would want to do that, because everybody's like, oh man, it's a bunch of work to do it, right? Everybody tells the people to set up the vertical extrusions perfectly perpendicular to each other, which, it seems square and perpendicular is a perfect thing to do, but we're dealing with, I don't want to say shoddily, but low quality skills assembly, manufacture, and loose tolerances and all the parts, and you're driving a V drive off of a vertical rail that's square, and that carriage is never going to sit on there square. It's just pretty much a given. And basically the only real trick to pull out of that is I have you loosen up the verticals, align the two halves of that X gantry so they're aligned with each other, and that takes a lot of that stress out. So the V groove wheels aren't trying to run out of the track all day, causing that inconsistency for the first layer height and some other problems that can come from not having that all squared up.
Gotcha. Yeah, in the class that I teach, the first thing that I tell all my students is, see this poster that's supposed to be your instruction manual? Throw it in the garbage.
Yeah.
And that's what we all do. We throw it in the garbage. And then we start building.
Nice. Yeah, so I have my quote unquote advanced assembly guide that Jim filmed, and it basically takes 3 or 4 of my tuning and tweaking tips and introduces it at the point of assembly, so you don't have to go back and revisit it later. And it can really be fast track people to having a pretty well repeating printer.
Right. When I got to say, Luke was pretty brave to let me film being brand new, and I'd send the stuff to him, and then he would approve it or tell me to fix it, and then we would post it from there. So it was a lot of fun to get into. I have some Ender 5 stuff coming from the guide as well. And Jerry, and Richard over here, does, like he was saying, he does a class based around the Ender 3, right, Richard?
Yes, it's
nice.
It's around the Ender 3.
Oh, and that's up in Canada where you guys are, right?
Yeah,
you're up here,
Yeah, we teach it at SAIT here in Calgary. It's a community college, I guess.
Yeah, that would be the best. That's where I got my education. So,
well, now we know where everything went wrong.
Yeah. This prestigious institute ruined by one man.
That's hilarious. I got to shout out to everybody. Thank you so much for coming in and watching. And the chat's been really awesome. We got a lot of really cool people in the 3D printer or 3D printing professors in the house as well.
Excellent.
How you doing? He's been answering questions and asking questions, and I appreciate you showing up. I know, like I said, WFO Rider was sharing everywhere on Twitter, and he saw it on Twitter and decided to pop in. So I really appreciate that, coming and checking us out. Red Lights here, Donald Sparks, Andrew, everybody. I don't want to take up too much time for these guys down here, so I don't want to name everybody, but thank you so much for coming in. So Luke, I know the answer to this personally, but how long have you been printing?
So I just had my birthday, and I got the Ender 3 for my birthday. I did have an ANET A8 for a couple months before I picked that up. That was my baptism in fire and direct drives and heat creep and a bunch of other things. I could spend a whole evening telling you about the nightmares of getting somebody else's assembled kit that was bastardized can do to you. It came with improper heat block. It had a volcano heat block on it. Basically no cooling. You can imagine what kind of jams I experienced with that. But anyhow, I did some conversions to it or whatever. But a little over a year, and I fast tracked in getting aligned with Creality. That some people think that I just lucked into it. I can't say that I made it happen, but I planned on being known by them. I was a machinist. I knew that if I supported their customers and showed them that I cared about their product, that I could develop a relationship, which we have, and I've really enjoyed it. So.
Awesome. Let me do this real quick. I just want to. I threw something up, and I thought I did, and I think I maybe didn't paste it or something. I thought I had the links in there. I will make sure they are in there as soon as the stream's done. I apologize for that. Like I said, I thought I had everybody's links in there, so I'm going to go double check. But Eccentric Nut, absolutely correct. I will have everybody's links in there for everybody to find coming up. And also, sorry you got edited earlier. I think Nightbot went on a rampage on you or something. It wasn't Luke this time.
Yeah, it wasn't me.
Hey, Luke accidentally did a pocket ban or a timeout, and he got timed out one time, and he didn't mean to do it.
I see my son in chat asked me what's my favorite print. I don't know what's my favorite print. I have a lot of favorite prints.
Nice.
I would have to say for me, it's anything Batman or anything Sergio Malik.
Mm-hmm. I do a lot of commission prints that I don't charge for, and I enjoy just seeing the people enjoy the prints that I give them. Like I just did a commission thing for a coworker where he's a Star Trek guy, so I did the next gen Enterprise, a couple of Nangvar fighters, a Klingon bird of prey, and he's got them all hanging in his hobby room and like they're standing off doing a battle or whatever. That was pretty neat.
I love it.
But my biggest print was when I was testing the CR10S Pro Max. I mean, how do you test a printer with that big of a work volume, right? Because I really don't generally have prints that are over 400 millimeters in size, right? So I peeked around a little bit in the people that I was assisting, and one of my buddies is into the role play stuff or whatever. But he needed a chest armor done for his cosplay outfit or whatever. So I did a full-size chest armor in PETG on the CR10S Pro Max, and that was pretty cool.
I see somebody just asked me, Plasma, what this was sitting behind me. This is Doomsday by Fragments. It's part of Black Superman versus Doomsday. I've got a great big round base that Doomsday sits on, and there's a Superman that's punching him in the jaw. I printed this 2 or 3 months ago. I never have got it painted like typical Jerry Knapp. I print and I don't always paint when I should, but this is really an awesome piece at 200%.
Sweet.
That's awesome.
I wish I had more to show you guys, but most of it's out on the showroom floor. We're at School 3D right now.
I can't.
I can tell you that the hotel employees have been having a little bit of fun with my current hotel stay. I keep getting these filaments to test, so I try and pick a print that sort of plays into the characteristics of the filament or whatever. But when I'm done, I mean, my wife doesn't want me bringing a bunch of that stuff home, so I take it down and I tell them to put it out on the counter, and whatever hotel guest, adult or child, appropriate by age, can have the print or whatever, and whatnot. So that's been sort of fun.
Well, you guys are showing all this really cool stuff, and I have this close to me. All I have is this little case here. This was actually the first print that just came off the Ender 3 that's sitting right out of frame here. And there's a video about that coming up soon. I can't. I don't spoil it, but
I guess we can go mobile just for 1 second. So they're not going to glow like they should. So I'll put my phone. So I got some glow in the dark filament. But this is a series I did for Halloween. I'll actually take these home for Halloween decorations. But I got some glow in the dark filament. I put in the special nozzle so I didn't wear out my brass ones really bad. But I did some prints for our Halloween celebrations this year that were sort of fun.
Very nice.
That's cool.
that is awesome.
So it's Halloween early here.
I'm curious to be on the road then a lot. So, what kind of other YouTube channels are you watching?
Did you ask that to me?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. So I watch all the big players. I catch some of the smaller channels. On our questionnaire thing, one of the questions was asked was who do you recommend that some people might not run across? And he's getting to be bigger, but Michael Laws with Teaching Tech.
Yep.
He's from Australia. He doesn't have the following he should have as subscribers for the awesome work that he's doing on the technical side of setting up electronics and mods and stuff like that. So he's the guy I say to take a look. But Chris's Basement and some of those guys, that crew that hang around, Country 3D, those guys, they're not as big as some of the others, but they're down to earth guys that like to talk 3D printing.
Nice. Yeah, that is true. I love, one of the things I like to watch, and I think I said this last week, but Mr. Buttram and Robbie Mack have been doing those Saturday night hangouts. Those are a lot of fun too, just to get to know everybody, just like we're doing here. But it's a lot of fun. So that's kind of a fun thing. So I got to ask, Luke, what all printers do you currently have right now?
That I can talk about. So I have the two Ender 3s that I'm traveling with. I have a TiVo Tornado Gold. I have an Ender 5, a CR10S Pro, and a CR10S Pro Max.
Nice. That's and the two with you right now are both Ender 3s, right? Like I think you said that earlier.
Yes. And people always ask me, what mod should I get? The only mod that I do to most of the Creality printers that I have to pay for, that I don't print, is I get some flavor of the Bondtech extruder. And I actually bought my very first Bondtech from them, full value. I paid almost $100 for it as an homage for them doing the technology. Now that I don't have to feel guilty about not supporting the people who created it, because I have so many printers, I do have some aftermarket ones. This one over here, we can swing in real close for a second, has an aluminum one that I found. It's not super cheap, but it's like $60, but it's an aluminum frame. You can actually turn it into a direct drive. So you can actually screw your throat right up into it. It's got a spot on the side where you can add a fan to turn it into the heat sink. So you don't have all that extra weight of it, having a heat sink and the thing, right? So with that, with the stepper motor on it, would probably create one of your lightest direct drives you're going to find, right? And then I have like some Dubit ones that I've been working with them a little bit. They're actually looking at, if I get it through, they're looking at producing my hot end fix, where I put that little spacer washer inside the hot end to capture the PTFE. I'm working with them on seeing if I can get them to produce those little aluminum washers and sell it with the tubing and some fittings, so that the new people can get set up with a more durable product and help promote my hot end fix a little bit.
Awesome. I'm trying to remember. Let's see. Let me go back up here. Sean Butler said you're holding the Max for him, and I said I responded that you might have to get in line. So
yeah, I'm pretty sure you called dibs on it first.
I do have to point out that I think I said this in the chat earlier, but Bryan is the new face of the CR10 Max right there. I mean, he's I love that.
Yeah, for the people that don't own one, and I understand that not everybody's going to have one, and I can feel guilty for it a little bit as I own one and appreciate it. But you guys don't understand how big that printer is until you're by it. Like my wife is still upset because it took over my kitchen table for about a month during testing or whatever, and it covered pretty much the whole table.
This is my hand, it's
Yeah, it's
that
huge.
alone is like
I mean,
Yeah.
I remember a picture that may or may not have come my way, and I was like, holy moly, my wife would kill me, but it would be awesome.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, I like the CR10 Max. I like what it's capable of. I like the fact that they put on the more pro features of the CR10. Again, I would just have liked a little bit bigger build volume, but behind me here is, I can't show it to you. It's coming out on Wednesday, is a new 3D printer that was sent to me last week.
Yep.
And nice.
Well, I won't spoil the review. Let's just say that.
So
it's a CR, or not a CR, it's an Ender 3 clone.
Johnny Gardner, I just asked about Ender 5 bed leveling. Stay tuned. There might be something coming soon. But yes, it is definitely possible. And just like the Ender 3 and the other Creality products, it is a pretty awesome upgrade. But I got to ask Jerry something real quick in the bottom corner. I know he's holding a mask. Which mask is that, Jerry?
I forget what it's called, but I got this off of Thingiverse and printed it a while back with Arion Rainbow PLA. It's one thing I want to mention to Richard. When I met Aaron on Facebook, Richard, in a PM, I phonetically asked him 4 or 5 times how he pronounced his company name, and from what I gathered, it was Arion. That's why I tend to call it Arion. So ERI space ON is how I try to phonetically spell it. But anyway, a few people said you must have used an awful lot of PLA to get the color change. I just got lucky. Typically, because every 1/4 inch or so of the roll is a different color, it takes a long time. If you have a small object to do a color change, I got lucky here. And the only supports that were on this were around the eyes and the nose where I had to have them. I didn't, as you can see, there's a slight bit. Some bookers up here. I didn't have any supports at all going up. I just printed it up right.
So they're starting to offer different gradients as far as how far between the changes or whatever. I can't say it was directly all me or whatever, but that was one of my suggestions to them. I was like, hey, I just demoed your stuff. I got some really cool color changes that worked on these models, but I'm having to print, a 1/3 of a spool model to really showcase this. If you do your transitions quicker, you'll have people that are more happy being able to do smaller models and transitions. And as an industry, we got to figure out a way to quantify it, because it really does play in to how big of a model to the transitions, right? And as a builder, I guess, or as a creator, you're going to have to figure that out on your own. But at least we can try and quantify, it's so many meters per change or whatever, and come up with a metric so that people can use that neat filament.
Right. So I just want to comment. Ben Brady made a good point. I was talking about the ABL on the Ender 5 or any of the Creality machines, and he said you don't need it on the Ender 5. That's absolutely true. I have not leveled my bed one time since I set up my Ender 5. I check it once in a great while, but it really, since it's stayed where it is, and maybe that's going through Luke's guide with my other printers and setting it up correctly the first time, or maybe I got lucky. I'm not going to say ABL doesn't make life easier. I'm going to say that I haven't re-leveled my Ender 5 once since I set it up.
Right. ABL is in its own really for bigger surfaces that are not inherently flat on their own.
And someone else.
That being said, you can do those stabilizers that come off of the lower support frame for the Ender 5 that even stabilize the outer end a little bit. I'm personally working on a mod that I'll probably put up on Thingiverse if I ever pull it off and get time, where I'm going to fully drive the second side of the Ender 5. So it'll be a dual Z single stepper drive, and it'll drive the whole platform all at once. That's a mod that'll be coming up pretty soon. But yeah, ABL is best with big surfaces that aren't really flat.
I'll agree with you on that one, Luke. Recently, speaking of mods, this CR10 that's beside me here, I recently did a mod on it because I have the ABL or the BL Touch on it. I actually took the springs off and put spacers in there, and now the spacers are perfect. Every time.
All right, so
every time I go and
so I gotta put it out there as the guy that helps the people that don't pull this off right in the help section or whatever.
Yep.
If you're gonna do bed hard mounts, get one of those digital dial indicators and print you up a thing so you can sweep the bed, and make sure that it is actually presented flat to the workhead first. The ABL is to do minor corrections, not compensate for a half millimeter out of level. Half the times it won't even give you a good leveling of it if you do that. So you got to get it as close as you can humanly get it before you put it to work. Tech tip for the day.
So my TiVo Tarantula Pro that I've had here for about, I don't know, a month and a half or so, I've been printing on daily. It has no ABL on it whatsoever. I leveled it once the first time. I probably got 5 to 10 prints before I had to go back and do minor adjustments for the, to continue. Right. And then I was getting really rough with my scraper trying to get off a Flexi Dragon that I did. I hold it. I've got a Biltac spatula that gets underneath everything real well, but I was having a lot of trouble getting it off. At that point, I had to do minor adjustments, but typically it prints fine without a sensor on it.
Yeah. The thing that I do to help with the scraping removal moving program, so plug in my guide again, right? I make a lot of money off of it. I think I've made a total of, I probably made $200 in donations, and I appreciate those. But anyhow, I take a screw and run it up the nut on the backside of the bed so that the screw is held perpendicular. It's called the bed stabilization mod. You do that and some yellow springs, and that bed is not moving. I mean, it's not going to do the trampoline walk where it's sort of walking and the screws aren't moving to the bed surface or whatever. It just solidifies it more.
Right. So I got to jump in and ask you guys down below on both sides here. Do you have any questions for us, either Richard or Bryan or me or anybody? Jerry, go ahead if you have anything for us first, and then we'll jump over to Luke.
The only one thing that every printer needs is a filament runout sensor, period. That way you don't have to worry about if in the middle of the night it runs out. If it does, it'll pause, wait on you, you wake up, you put in more filament. That'd be the only one thing that all printers need, either an add-on or included with, however it may happen.
Yeah, that is one of the biggest things. And the bummer about the filament runout sensor, and people get this all the time, is even if the software returns and everything, if I can tell you as a user what to be careful of, do not move the bed or the X carriage while you're doing the filament change out, right? People are like, I don't understand why it's not working. They're upset with the people from Marlin or from Creality or whatever. It's you. If these were CNC controlled where it had a linear rail that gave feedback all the time with a digital readout, yeah, you'd be fine to do that because it knows where home zero is. The only way these things know where they are is it goes and hits a little thing that clicks, and it says this is home position, and every move after that is a distance move away and back from that point mathematically, right? So if you move it just 1/8 of an inch, it's going to move that 1/8 of an inch. It doesn't know any different. So be so careful when you change out your filament if you're doing that.
And
Sorry, I'm
part
preaching.
Part of that is software, too, Luke. I assume you've played with Marlin 2.0 and how they've changed up filament runout that keeps the motors active and all that to try and help with that.
Yeah, if the steppers are locked, it helps, but people move them and it messes it up.
But unless you have an Ender 5 and the power goes out and your bed just goes.
Plasma just got a question for me. He wants to know if I've paid attention to how much filament that I've used since I've been 3D printing. And I done a video a while back. At the time of that video, I had like 175 rolls that I had saved. I used to keep all my rolls. By this point, I'm going to guess and say I probably went through about 250 rolls of filament. Average price $15.99 to $19.99. I try to stay buy from Amazon and stay right around a $16 price range. And then occasionally different manufacturers will give me filament to test. I get for free or next to free. And then I go from there.
I'm showing some empties from the last couple of weeks.
Awesome. So, like I said, do you guys have any questions for us up here before we, get moving?
No, I just want to say thanks to the First Layer for coming out and being part of the host or whatever. It's good to meet you. definitely hook up with me offline and we can talk tech as much as you want. That's sort of my thing.
Absolutely,
I
absolutely.
love it. How about you, Jerry?
What's that? I missed the question. I was reading something.
No, you're good. Do you have any questions for myself, or Richard, or Brian? They're this way. I keep going this way. I forget. I'm here.
You had a question. Chris Galata asked me a question. He says, "What do I do with my empty spools?" Well, I used to save them in the garage, and my wife wanted me to make a Christmas tree one year and put it in the front yard. I finally recycled them and put them in the bin. I just got tired of saving them. I was having too many boxes. But I'm sorry to interrupt there.
I printed a master spool, and if it ever gets to be a thing, I'm all for saving it because it kills me every time I throw one of those in the garbage. But I mean, I spend too much plastic to print the little drawers to go in them to make them into organizers or whatever, right? So it's like, I don't know, it's just a waste product at this point for me.
Nice.
It's funny to hear that master spool is not picking up elsewhere, because here in Canada it's becoming huge.
It is. Absolutely.
I'm all for it. Sign me up. I mean, I'll use it, but I'm just not seeing it in my circles.
Nice.
I think it's awesome. I think it's awesome, Jim, that you had me on. It's nice seeing Richard and Brian and Luke and everybody that joined us today. I think it's really awesome, and I'm really.
Yeah, that's great, and I know we have a lot of great people watching right now. I want to say hi to everybody. Bernie from Ireland. I'm sorry, Bernie from Ireland's in the house, and everybody else. Thank you so much. I know we got some time left. I'm gonna grab the stuff to give away. Go ahead if you guys want to take it away for a few. If Richard and Brian have any questions, jump on in there.
I got one thing.
Oh, hang on. What were you saying, Richard?
I said I was saying that I get asked this question all the time. Why did I start a YouTube channel about 3D printing? So I'm going to put that off to you because most everybody has heard me and why I started a YouTube channel. So I want to know why you started a 3D printing YouTube channel.
Oh, me? Oh boy. Well, in a nutshell, I got my first printer in the very end of November. It was right after Thanksgiving that weekend, and had some, I got this upgrade fever, right? I got this new printer coming. I was watching some channels out there who did all these upgrades, and I did not learn the printer before I did those upgrades. And that got me into trouble. And I reached out and I started looking at Luke's guide. And I reached out to Luke a couple times saying, what do I do kind of thing. And he pointed me to how to fix it. And fast forward to January, I said, I'm a visual learner myself. I really like watching something and doing it. I can read it, but I was so new, I didn't understand some of the terms. And I asked Luke if I could start filming his guide for people like myself that are getting into it, that are more visual, so we could maybe point out what an extruder or a hot end was I'd never heard of before,
Right. Yeah, so when he told it, he came to me, and I was more than happy to have him do it, but he came to me, he's like, Luke, now that I've done some of this stuff, I understand what it means, but you're talking tech talk, and it's going right over my head, right? And I get that, right? So it's really a good symbiosis because he's making it where people are more visual learners how to use my more technical stuff in layman's term.
And the end answer is just because I wanted to help. I wanted to help back people like myself, and that's pretty much the answer.
That's exactly why I started my YouTube channel. It was out of frustration because when I got into this, everybody was going, hey, look what I printed on this printer with this filament. Have a nice day. Doesn't it look great? And I was frustrated. I really was. I got a great question here from Plasma. He says, what's planned for the new projects for the first layer in the future? What's the schedule on the channel? Can you share with us? Well, we've got a lot of things in the pipe. We've got some new filament reviews coming up. We've got the review of the Max coming up. We've got the rest of our Crucia build coming up. We've got this special thing behind me coming up. We're going to talk about bed adhesion in an upcoming episode. We're going to do more painting. Superman's probably got about another 12 episodes before we're done that. 12 or 13 episodes. Yeah, that's what's on your plate for the channel?
really, I've been developing hardware lately. So as soon as I get something that's a bit more refined and to talk more about processes, that's kind of the next step. Right now, it's experimentation, and just like each and every one of you, I have my own struggles with my printers. Time I try to fix it by modifying it. Well, he doesn't know I'm going to be buying more 2040 aluminum in a few minutes there. I love to tinker around. I just haven't had anything refined enough lately for a new episode. So you might mostly be seeing me on the Saturday Night live streams for the next little bit, but I'm hoping to have some new content coming soon here.
Wait a minute. You're on Saturday Night Live?
Yes.
No, our live stream.
I'm just playing.
Our Saturday Night Live.
It's about as funny. So whether
Yeah.
or not we deem that as funny anymore, that's we just ramble for an hour and usually laugh at our own jokes.
That's
so.
right.
Hey, you know, that's about what we do here. So that's great. So we do got the box of giveaways. Go ahead, Jerry. Sorry.
I started a YouTube channel, so I was printing a lot of cool stuff. I wanted to share it with the world and let everybody get to meet Jerry Knapp. That's basically the truth there, and I'll try to continue to do so for the next 20 or 30 years. And I see somebody was asking, what was my longest print? I'm going to say probably 7 or 8 days nonstop with a filament runout sensor. But as soon as that print was done, I would pull it off, load up a different project, and keep going. So there has been times it's been weeks and weeks because the printer never gets shut off. As soon as it's cooled and I get the print off, I start another one and keep going. And, you know, they rarely ever break down. You know, very rarely do I have a problem. In the last 2 years, I replaced a stepper motor on my first CR10 and a motherboard, and a belt broke on the one printer over a 2-year period. But basically no issues. As long as you make sure whenever you buy a printer or build it, thermal runaway is enabled. If it's not, that's a must before you print anything for any period of time. You don't want to walk away and have a problem. Thermal runaway must be turned on if it's not already done.
Unless you're printing with a laser.
Yeah, that's not going to save you.
That's what's upcoming for me. I got to figure out how I'm going to review a 3-in-1 on the road.
Oh, yeah, that one. Yeah. Let's see how that works out.
What were you gonna say? What were you gonna say, Brian?
I was gonna say with thermal runaway, I'm gonna warn you all now. With Marlin 2.0, when it thermal runaways, the beeper comes on full blast and stays on until you power cycle that printer. So you will be made aware if you thermal run away in the middle of the night.
If you have a filament runout sensor from TH3D, you're not going to have a beeper go off.
Well, with Marlin 2.0, the beeper goes off a lot. I could turn this Ender 3 on and demonstrate, but I don't want to burn everybody's eardrums out. So real quick, I just got to plug something. I know RC CNC is in the house. I don't know if I could say his real name, but we'll keep it at RC CNC. He sent me this box after last week's stream. He said, "Hey, I have some stuff I want you to give away if you want to." And I said, "Well, sure." So the first thing we'll give away is this sweet orange RC CNC shirt. This is a large, so I couldn't wear it today because you did not want to see me in a large shirt.
Yeah, we need to get you on keto.
Yeah, that's a true story. I like meat, so that would work out. But he said that's fine, no worries. So he actually sent this box up, and I can't say thank you enough, for that. So we got a couple shirts to give away. I would gladly wear them. Unfortunately, I'm a little bit. I could probably squeeze into the extra large, but the stream still doesn't want to see that. But let's give away this orange one. It is a large. And I'm going to type in the chat here what you need to type. And as soon as I do, I love it. 2XL fits pretty good, especially what happens is I throw it in the dryer and I shrink it. And then my 2XL is a 1XL. That's why larges don't work, because then they shrink on me. Mostly that's because of my laundry skills, but that's another story.
This is a multi-purpose machine, this CR10 Max. So you buy this, you put the shirt down, it just shrinks. It just covers the
It's got enough room under the bed you can put in the washer dryer unit.
There you go.
So if everybody types one time, only type it one time, RC CNC large, courtesy of Barry. He gave us these. He did say I could say his name. So Barry, thank you so much. We got 3 prizes from him today, but everyone only one time. If you do it more than once, it does not help you at all. And we'll roll the dice here in about a minute. we're going to go a little bit over tonight so we can do these giveaways. But I just wanted to say thank you again to Richard and Bryan for coming on. I know, Bryan, it was a rush for you to get off work, and Richard, you stayed late at work so you could come on with us. I really do appreciate that. And I hope we can do some more of these because this is a lot of fun. I love watching you guys' show, and I love that you guys wanted to come on. I really do appreciate it. So
We appreciate
I
you.
think you're a great guy. All you guys are great.
Really appreciate
I got a couple of teasers if we got some dead air to fill while you're figuring out your contest.
go ahead.
So one, for those that are watching and you haven't at least gone to look at it, go to Thingiverse and look at my hot end fix. If you have a standard hot end, you should really look at trying it out. It stops the PTFE from pulling away from the hot end. Look at that. Secondly, I'm looking to grow the community outside of our normal bounds. And to that end, in a little while, he's not going to do a formal unveiling or whatever, but there's a pretty big sized, over 1 million viewer YouTuber that his son is about ready to get a Creality 3D printer, and I'm hoping that it's going to get some cameos. So if you guys ever watch Wrangler Star on YouTube, he's sort of a country living channel or whatever. They're going to be getting a Creality printer. I'll be working with them on getting them set up. So look for that.
So
that was all I had.
Last call for RC-CNC large. Make sure you put the dash in there. I didn't mean to cut you off, Luke, but that is going to be awesome. Country Living, they're going to get a 3D printer, and Luke's going to help them out. I do got to say, someone said that Bryan had the best hair in here, and then someone else commented, how long does Bryan's hair take versus Jim's? I think mine's longer.
Yeah, you take the cake. I'm just past the chin line here if I straighten it out, but you got the curls right now, right? So
mine is like naturally curly like this, so it's like it's like 2/3 or a half as long. If I pull it long, it's actually longer than my sister's, which is
I left the Marine Corps in '97, but I've kept the haircut ever since.
All right, Andrew S. You have won the giveaway for the large shirt.
Congrats.
Woot, Andrew won. Sweet.
Thank you so much. We're going to do the extra large right away so we can get the giveaways done. Thank you so much, Andrew S. Shoot me an email. I think you know my email already, but just in case, shoot me an email here, and we'll get it rolling. Congrats. I know. Hey, and Andrew, I know you can hear me. Obviously, you're watching, so you can go ahead and type the famous line if you want. It's inevitable. Nice. And then let's do the next one is going to be very similar, except for it is going to be an extra large shirt. And it looks like this. This is a really nice shirt too. It's the black version, RC-CNC. It says custom made in America, RC-CNC. So go ahead and type. Maybe if I hit the right enter button. Go ahead and type this in the chat, and we'll get that rolling in a second. Congratulations, Andrew. Y plus Y equals X. That's correct. I'll never live that down, I don't think. Hang on, Jerry. What are we talking about?
I see a comment there. Just do you have a Thingiverse number for your hot end fix on hand that we could post in the chat?
Oh, I do not have it to memory.
I got it.
Just put in Creality hot end fix or whatever it should show.
Give me 1 second. I'll get it for you.
My apologies. It was a sort of spur of the moment thought or whatever, but I'm trying to get the word out. I think it's coming up on 17,000 downloads, but there's several million people out there that could benefit from it. I get nothing out of it, but it can make your life so much easier because even if you do, like a lot of guys will compress the fitting to make the PTFE hold against the hot end, but over time those teeth dig into the PTFE and you'll get that slight little void and it starts causing that minor under extrusion or whatever. With this thing, you put the spacer in there, the fitting pushes down on the spacer, the cut length of tube is held there, it can't move, it never degrades that way. You'll find that when you have to replace it, it's because the PTFE is degraded over time, which it does, right? But it just takes care of that problem. This makes life easier.
All right. So we got about 10 seconds here.
Sorry.
Nope. Go ahead.
I was on Luke's YouTube channel and I found that hot end fix a while back, and I used it on 2 of my machines so far. I wait till I have an issue and then I go and install it. I have it on both my CR10s. Currently, it works great.
I got several printer farms that swear by it.
So I'm about ready. I'm gonna roll it. Looks like everybody's done typing. Let's see here. What did we type? RCCNCX. Oops.
Yeah. Unlike Naomi, while you're doing this, unlike Naomi, who's charging $1,000 to put your name on a shirt, I'll wear anybody's shirt.
Yeah. You send us your shirt and we'll just wear it.
We'll just wear it. She gets a lot of celebrity, but I do not envy her at all with having to deal with her government and all the stuff that's going on over there.
So real quick, for whatever reason, Nightbot decided to take a nap on us. So we're gonna do this real fast. Just type in XL. For some reason, I think it doesn't like. I don't know what's going on. I thought it doesn't like the space, but we did a space in the last one too.
So here's my big fear. It's not set in stone, but there's a chance that I'm going to go visit Creality at their factory this winter. And my biggest fear is that Naomi is going to be assigned to me as an interpreter, and I got to deal with my wife knowing that she's my interpreter.
I tell you what, I'll come along and be your interpreter.
Okay. You speak fluent Chinese?
No, I speak fluent. I want to go to Creality.
Yeah.
One thing about Creality printers, whatever build size you buy, the heated bed should be the same size. Whether it's 400 or 500 millimeters, should be the same size.
No, I've always said.
So
Richard has always said I will be the death of him, and this is proof.
Bryan killed me.
Trying to kill him online.
Nice.
But hey, it can go viral if you do it on video. That's the important part. You can't die off camera.
I love it.
You'll soon understand our studio
There we
space
go.
is less than like a foot behind me here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're pretty cramped. It's only about 12 by 12 at best.
Yeah.
Sean Butler hit the black extra large shirt. Congratulations, Sean. And we have one more giveaway. I don't want to unwrap. He wrapped it very well, so I don't want to unwrap it. But what it is it's a plate set for a V-Core from Rat Rig. So we're gonna.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I just happened to glance at the chat or whatever. Andrew S., give me a contact by PM, please.
So everybody, if you want to try to win the what was I talking about here? If you want to try to win the plate set for a V-Core from Rat Rig, just type in Rat Rig right now and we'll get you going. I don't want to unwrap it. He has it wrapped very nicely in this package, and so type in Rat Rig.
Hey, Jim, can I do a quick plug for something I decided to start over on our Facebook page today?
Yeah, do it. There you go.
For anybody that doesn't know, we have a member, and he's probably a member of a lot of different groups. His name is Tempest Morendi. And he showed some pictures today of a print he's doing of Conan for a friend of his who recently had a flood and had a lot of his comics and video games and statue collectibles destroyed in the flood. He's a big anime fan. So Tempest is printing him a Conan. And I decided to throw my hat in the ring, and I'm printing off a Batman bust here right now that I'm going to end up painting up, cleaning up and painting up. And I'm going to send that off to Tempest so that he can go ahead and give that to his friend as well. So I want to invite anybody on either our channel or this channel, if you're a member of all these channels and you want to help out, print something and get in touch with Tempest over on our Facebook page and let him know that you've got something for his friend just to help lift his spirits and maybe get some unique collectibles in his collection.
Awesome. So I'm going to roll that one. And Sean did say we could give the shirt away again. So we're going to do that. Congratulations, Brandon. You've got that pretty sweet plate. I don't, like I said, I don't unwrap it. It's wrapped very nicely. Congratulations, though. And then, and we'll just do XL one more time. to give away the Black XL shirt that Sean graciously donated back to give away. Again, congratulations, Brendan. Everybody hit that XL one more time. We got one more time. We're going to give this stuff away. So, hey, and Richard, thank you for being gentle on me the other night. I was in the middle. I was actually DJing a wedding, and I couldn't hear you, but I was reading all the chats, and I know one of the guys actually was Jerry. I was talking to him on the chat, going back and forth on your chat. I apologize if I took over your chat a little bit there, and it won't happen in the future. But I was like, I can't,
my friend, no
hear
problem.
anything you said. And then I watched it back the next morning, and I was like, oh yeah, I realized we were having a conversation in your chat on your stream. So
You'd be surprised how often that actually happens, because I don't. Here's the thing: is I don't always get a chance to read the comments, and when I'm by myself, like I was on Saturday, I don't have a second person reading comments and then handing off, certain comments that I should be reading.
Way to rub it in.
Yeah.
I need to start
Try,
getting
try and lay a guilt trip on him, right?
Yeah, I'm going to go and take some time off for myself, and this is what happens. Speaking of which, I will not be here for this live stream upcoming because I'm flying about 400 miles west for the weekend. So it'll be solo one more night, and then August it's party time.
I have so many models and statues around me. I need to get into cosplay, and since I got the resin printer, I need to start getting into miniatures. So I'm going to start heading towards the miniatures and then large helmets, masks, swords, whatever it may be, because obviously I have too many figures. And if you've seen everything in the box, it'd cover my floor. I just got way too much stuff. I wish one of you guys was my neighbors. You could come over and paint and take stuff home. I just have miles and miles of stuff.
Not that you're looking to make money off of it, but put the items up one at a time on Etsy or something like that, and let people pay you for your work.
Yeah, occasionally I'll slowly get rid of this and that. I got thousands tied up in plastic and models and printers.
Or have some real fun with it. Put it up, put it out that you're doing it first, and then put them up on eBay for $1, and then they can pay whatever they think it's worth.
Yeah.
love it.
You know what, Jerry? I put you in my travel plans for next August, so I will be coming to Vegas just to see you.
That'll be awesome, Richard. We can do a live stream, hang out, whatever, That'll be really awesome.
Yeah. And I haven't even got close to getting the details worked out, but I'm trying to beg, borrow, and steal to make it out to Earth. I don't know if I'm going to make it, but I'm trying really hard.
I'd like to go one of these times, and I, shouldn't put it off. I'm not getting any younger at 55, but I'll like to go and meet everybody.
I assure you, if I show up, it's just going to be with the shirt on my back because I'm not bringing printers and stuff.
We're desperately trying to get to Earth as well, and if we make it, we make it. If we don't, we don't. If we make it, we're just bringing a camera, a microphone, and ourselves, and maybe a bag of giveaways. But if we make it, we make it. I'm hoping that we can.
Hey, Bryan, Jim tried to high five you just a minute ago. There you go. Do it again, guys. There you go.
There you go.
So myself and my wife are probably going to get to Perth as well. We have a wedding that Friday night. I'm thinking we'll hit the wedding. Oh, I will, because she's not going to come. I'll hit the wedding. I'll pack up, come home and sleep for a few hours, and then there's an airplane that leaves, and I can be out there by 9:55. And the guys, I can land in Baltimore, and the guys from C3D who host Luke's Guide said they would come pick me up, and we could spend the weekend there. So we're probably going to get there. It's going to be a lot of fun. Same thing though. I'm not really bringing much. Maybe some giveaway stuff or something, but I know we're way over here. We're about 15 minutes long, but that's okay. We had some cool giveaways and awesome discussion. I just wanted to thank you guys from the first layer, Bryan and Richard. Thank you so much for coming on again. Right under me, Luke, One Bad Marine. Let me get my thing. There we go. One Bad Marine. I know I talk to you a lot, but it's awesome for the community to see you out. And then Jerry as well. Thank you so much, 3D printing and painting. Don't forget, if you have not subscribed to these guys, or this guy, go do so now. You can find us. I'll put links in the stream. I thought I already did that, but I'll make sure that's taken care of. Plasma, I don't have any extra small, but we're working on shirts. And I know the First Layer guys, they have some shirts out there.
You can get them on Teespring / the First Layer, teespring.com.
Nice. Teespring. But thank you guys so much. If you guys just want to hang out for a few minutes, stay on the stream. We'll come back. And everybody else, from the bottom of my heart and these guys here tonight, thank you so much for watching. We had almost 60 people at one time. in here, and that is awesome for the second week of a little show like this. And we would not be here, all of us, if it wasn't for you guys and you guys below us in the community. So thank you so much. Yes. Like
Yep, shout out to Coax. I haven't got a trailer film it yet, but we need to change that.
I will.
Thank you, everybody in the chat. Thank you for everybody watching, everybody that will watch. It was really nice meeting everybody, and come join all of us. And you're awesome. It's a great community.
We have an amazing community of people that will come together and support all of the little creators like ourselves, like Jim, Luke, and Jerry, and you guys make what we do enjoyable.
Yes, for sure. And if you did win something tonight, email me, jim@theedgeoftech.com. Josh from Alien 3D posted that right now. Just a little teaser. Josh from Alien 3D will be our co-host next week. And we'll have David Shorey on as a community guest. If you have not seen David Shorey's stuff, check it out on Instagram or his website. He has been printing on fabric, and it is crazy. So check that out. Once again, thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for coming. Thank you to the sponsors, Coax, TH3D, StreamYard, and Robbie Mack. Thank you so much. RPM Designs is Robbie Mack. So thank you for everything. You guys have a great night, and we will see you next time on the Community Showcase. Later.